Good morning. We've got Senator Jerry Moran in the studio this morning. How are you today, Senator Moran?
I'm doing fine. This is a great day in northwest Kansas. I've spent time out here after people have had some rain, and they're in pretty good moods, and things look pretty green at the moment.
Definitely. It's nice to get rain. It seems like you've been pretty busy lately. What have you been up to in the past couple weeks?
Well, I'm away from Washington, D.C., so that's another piece of good news for me, and spending time really the last 2 weeks about lots of places across northwest Kansas and visiting a number of hospitals, checking in on health care. I've toured and visited hospital officials and board members, community leaders in communities like Hill City, Oberlin, Atwood, St. Francis, Quinter. And, of course, one of the things that's important to the future of our communities out here, the ability for people to stay here, is whether or not we can keep our hospital doors open and physicians in our community, pharmacy on Main Street, and a number of things that go on in Washington, D.C. affect that. But it was just me kind of making a checkup with those hospital folks to find out what's going on and how I can be of help in supporting the access to health care in Kansas.
Definitely, and that's so important. Obviously, something that is in the forefront of many producers' minds right now is the Farm Bill. In March of this year, you said that you had hoped for a meaningful and real relief for Kansas producers. Do you think that there is still a possibility for a new Farm Bill before the end of the year?
Well, I have indicated previously that I thought there was a reasonable chance of a Farm Bill between the November election and the January swearing in of a new Congress. It seems less likely to me, but I think the possibilities exist, but it rests with the House of Representatives. They've been able to pass a bipartisan, a Republican and Democrat-supported bill out of the House Agriculture Committee. If they would take that across the Senate floor and send it to the Senate, I think it's one of the issues that we could see some movement and success. Debbie Stabenow, the chairwoman of the Senate Agriculture Committee, didn't run for re-election. She's leaving the Senate. I can see her really being anxious to get a bill across the Senate floor and off to the president. One of her last accomplishments as a United States senator, a legacy of another farm bill. And certainly the Republican leader on the Senate Ag Committee, John Bozeman of Arkansas, he is a person who is easy to work with, and I'd like to see that happen. Senator Stabenow, she's from Michigan. She indicated 6 months ago that she was satisfied with the current bill. We've really worked hard to convince her that that's not the case. She was pleased with the greenness, the environmental issues contained in the current farm bill. She liked the food stamp nutrition programs that's in the current farm bill. But those of us who come from production agriculture, particularly drought country, recognize that wherever you are involved in farming, certainly drought in Kansas has been a terribly damaging thing. I want to make sure a new farm bill has Ogallala and drought issues included in it, but it doesn't matter where you're farming. Input costs have gone up dramatically, and you cannot say that the current farm bill covers that problem. So Title I of the Farm Bill, the farm programs, the safety net really needed attention because of the inflationary costs of doing business as a farmer. In fact, USDA has indicated that since the last farm bill was passed nearly 6 years ago, on-the-farm income will be down about 43%. So time for a new farm bill, and just as soon as we can get it done, I'm all for rolling up sleeves and getting that accomplished.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate what you're doing. Can you talk a bit about the new electronic identification rule and how that will impact Kansas producers?
Well, we're trying to make sure that Kansas producers have the minimal impact from this decision, and it's something that we continue to lobby on, try to influence. And in talking to cattlemen, I don't think the USDA is still not at the right place in resolving this issue. So it's still work to be done.
Public distrust in the government is so high right now. How do you think that public perception can be fixed?
Well, it's true that I'm like everybody else, I think, across Kansas and the country, is who do you trust? Who is telling me the truth? And it's one of the reasons that I'm spending time across Kansas in this time away from Washington, D.C., is that trying to make certain that the relationship that Kansans have with their elected officials is something that's strong, it's personal, that people have a chance to see and to hear and to ask questions of. My time in the last 2 weeks, in addition to those communities I mentioned, today at a town hall meeting in Sharon Springs, a couple of visits to Colby to help celebrate additional dollars for equipment at the hospital. Later today at Northwest Tech, now Fort Hays State University Northwest Tech, to provide some grant money for expansion of their educational programs, training programs for agriculture. Again, I think there's value if members of Congress would spend time with their constituents and focus some attention on issues that are really down home. But the country is divided. It's hard to bring people together. Social media is a component of that. People read and hear and see things on social media, and either they totally believe it or they're totally questioning it, and it's hard to know what the truth is. And I think good people doing good work and citizens who are engaged and paying attention, but not always believing everything they hear or see, that's a good thing to pull us together. And unfortunately, Congress perhaps may be a little bit worse, but it really does reflect the American people and this division. And small towns, rural America, places that I've been in this week, we know each other in these communities. And even though we may have differences politically, religious, social, we know each other and we care about each other. We see people in the grocery store and a football game on Friday night. It changes, and it changes the way you look at other people when you know them.
Definitely. Well, and I really appreciate what you're doing as a young American trying to figure out politics and different things. Seeing people like you in the community is really important to me. This is a little bit off topic for Northwest Kansas, but you've recently traveled to the Farnborough Air Show to promote Kansas aviation. Can you talk a little bit about why the aviation industry is so important to Kansas?
Well, it's true that when I'm in western Kansas, we talk a lot about agriculture, and it is the way that we earn a living, and there's not a part of Kansas that isn't impacted by whether or not farmers and ranchers are having some success. But aviation, and particularly aviation manufacturing in Kansas, is a huge component of our state's economy, especially in south central Kansas, the region surrounding Wichita. But it's true in lots of places. And there are international air shows. This year, the one was outside of London in a place called Farnborough. And we've teamed up with the Wichita Greater Partnership, their economic development arm in south central Kansas, to host a reception and to try to bring internationally, as well as people within the United States who are visiting the show, to have exhibits with our Kansas manufacturers and to promote the work they do and can do. And it's really become the largest reception at the air show, and again, designed to create more and better jobs across Kansas, but especially in the aviation industry. And it seems to be working. And with the problems that we've had in commercial aviation with COVID and flight cancellations, the safety issues that have occurred, we're also trying to make sure that we're doing more defense work and more space work. And that's growing in Kansas as well. So it's just another effort to try to make certain that another generation of Kansans have opportunities to live and work, raise their families in our state.
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate what you're doing, and thank you very much for speaking with me on these topics.
You are very welcome. It's great to be in this part of Kansas, and wish everybody well. Thank you.